If you were to go up to any Thomas fan and ask them, what's your favorite Thomas episode? 9.9 times out of 10, without fail, Henry's Forest is one on that list. But why? To answer this, I must ask another question. What makes a good episode of Thomas? From my personal experience, and what I've seen from fans, these are the two most important things I've gathered. Number 1. A good episode must be shot well. To make a good episode, something very important is that it must look good. From the sets to the lighting, this is one of the most important aspects and is something Thomas never fails to get right. Number 2. The writing. Thinking of important things for an episode, a lot of it can be merged into one thing. Was it written well? Now, Thomas is a kids show, so obviously I'm not expecting writing to be at the level of Sopranos.
You're not gonna believe this. He killed 16 Czechoslovakians. Guy was an interior decorator. His house looked like shit.
But creating any good piece of media needs well thought out writing. From how the characters behave to what makes sense when. It all matters to have something captivating and make you want to come back. Now let's go back to Henry's Forest. Going back to question 1, I think this episode was shot beautifully. From the fantastic blocking, the amazing sets, and even the visual effects. Now for the second question, was the writing good? I think this was such a nice story. I love the way the characters interact with each other. It really feels like they're friends.
Do you know, added James, if Gordon wasn't here now, I'd say it was him thundering by with the express. All the engines laughed.
And each part of the story makes me want to keep watching. Now, if I were to have one complaint, I think the pacing feels a bit too fast for me. But I understand the limitations within a 5-minute episode. Now, I'm talking a lot of good about this episode, but to fully understand it, let's do a quick recap of what happens. The episode starts with the narrator talking about Henry and how he loves his life and has worked on Sodor for many years. The narrator discusses Henry's love for the locations on Sodor, like the beaches, the fields, and wait, Henry, what the hell are you doing on Thomas's branch line? Get out of here. Anyway, we are here introduced to Henry's Forest, which is one of my favorite locations in the classic series. Also, Henry's theme is amazing here. Mike and Junior really stepped up their game for Season 3, delivering some of their best work. We are here given a flashback to Terrence and Trevor helping plant the new trees, with Toby just sitting there doing nothing. I like we're getting flashbacks to an event we haven't seen yet. It sells the idea that Sodor is a real place and continues to work off camera. We are then shown a storm has arrived, even though it was summer like 2 seconds ago. And again, the scene is shot amazingly. With the wind and the rain effects, we cut to the engines talking in the shed, except for Percy. I guess they left him in the storm to die. They discuss the storm and Angelus gives Toby a really high voice in the scene for some reason. It's not important to the plot, I just thought it was a weird detail that I noticed. James tells the worst joke in history as Henry throws a tantrum because trees and stuff. We cut to the next morning as it's magically summer again. And oh my god, how bad was the storm? Alright, so the Tinmouth Shed scene was meant to take place that morning, but why are Donald and Douglas here? And why is Henry in the wrong spot? One other thing I'd like to mention is how many characters they managed to get into this episode. We almost had all main 10. Sorry, Percy. We had Terrence and Trevor together, which was really cool to see. And we even had a decent amount of human characters with speaking roles. Although Donald just disappears after this, so I don't know why it couldn't have just been Henry, but whatever. We get some more shots of the aftermath, with again that fantastic theme playing. We then see what the trees are being used for, and Henry being upset still. They really do a great job with making us feel sorry for Henry. Great job, Brenner. Hope you actually get credit next time. Toby gets back to the sheds, and Sir Topham Hatt gives Toby some new trees to take to the forest. Terrence and Trevor come back to help plant the trees. And man, this is such a sweet moment. The engines feel like real friends in this episode, with Thomas and Toby wanting to help Henry, even though they have no connection to the forest. And Terrence with his line, even though I think this was the first time we got to see them interact. I really wish they got more of this dynamic in other episodes because I think it's really sweet. And now, we are at the final part of the episode. This scene is known as one of the best scenes in Thomas history, and I 100% agree. We are shown and told about the forest growing strong, the animals returning, and we finish with this line of narration that mirrors the beginning of the episode, with us being told Henry is forever happy. Upon rewatch, I think this is one of my favorite episodes. From the score to the writing, and even the narration was perfect, except for Toby's weird voice. But if this episode was so great, why was it overhated? Well, these are some of the most common arguments I've heard against it. Number 1, it's unrealistic. Now, if you've been a Thomas fan for a while, you probably know about this. Wilbur Awdry, the creator of the franchise, absolutely hated this episode for the scene near the beginning of the episode where Henry stops on the main line to have a rest at the forest. This event breaks Rule 55, stating, quote, "A British railway operating rule requires a train driver to notify a signalman of the train's presence if it was stopped at a running line signal." Now, as much as I think realism is important, I personally don't find this instance to be that annoying. I personally think that a Thomas episode can have some unrealistic moments in it if it doesn't take away from the overall story. I always like to think what Awdry would have thought about Thomas chasing a giant pirate ship down the main line. The second main complaint is that people only like this episode is because the people they watch like it. Now, I don't entirely disagree with this to some extent. I doubt anyone would really care as much about Push Me, Pull You being as bad as an episode as it was if it wasn't such a discussed thing in the fandom. But I think it's fine to like something if it was brought to you by someone else. That's how people can find new things and discover what they like from viewing it from different perspectives. What I do have a problem with is people taking other people's opinions at face value without doing your own research and thinking for yourself. And I'll be honest, I was one of those people for a while, but I realized I like some things that people hate, and I hate some things that people like, and that's totally fine. Before I get into my final thoughts about this episode, I asked some other creators about their perspectives on this episode, so here they are.
Henry's Forest is a very peaceful episode. Hell, I'd say it's one of the most peaceful ones of the whole season, possibly the entire show. I mean, we get to see a softer side of Henry. In the model series, it seemed like Henry was trying to be like Gordon, big, strong, and tough. But this was one of the few times we saw the softer side. Sure, before that, it was the episode A Cow on the Line, but he was later embarrassed by it. But it's a different story when it comes with the forest, and I like that. I think Wilbur Awdry did overreact just a tiny bit about Rule 55 and whatnot, and I mean, come on, it's a kid's show. But you do understand why he was so upset. If you made a series of books that follow real and fictional rules, you don't want the adaptation to follow those rules. Regardless, it's a nice episode, and I'm not really sure why people don't like it.
Henry's Forest, in my opinion, is an incredibly underrated episode. From its music, the sets, and the overall motion of it makes it very memorable. And what I really like in this episode is that it showed off a different side to Henry, because most of the time before this, either Henry has been seen as an ill engine that we felt bad for, then grumpy and agreed with Gordon and James a lot, to now a gentle giant. I can understand where Awdry is coming from, but also, I think it's okay to expand on his characters. That's one of the main reasons why I love Season 3 so much, is because it shows off characters having more to themselves. We start to see more of Thomas's character growth here, where we see him start to be more caring and willing to help others. We see that James is proud of his paintwork. Gordon is also showing his caring side here. And we also discovered that Duck has a fascination with the sea. Awdry had asked in that one interview, what fascination does a steam locomotive have in scenery? But respectfully, I have to ask him this. What fascination does a steam locomotive have in fishing? As we see in Thomas Goes Fishing, Thomas wants to fish. Again, I'm not bashing Awdry. I'm just saying that he has already done something like this before with Thomas. That's pretty much my thoughts on the episode. They're pretty much the same as almost everyone else's. Henry's Forest is a great episode. And if any of you who haven't seen it yet in a while, I'd say give it a rewatch.
Hey guys, I'm the Thomas Maniac, and my opinion on this episode is just... I don't really enjoy this episode. I kind of would just watch Big World Big Adventures than this shit because, like, why would Henry's driver and fireman left him next to a tree, which is a fire hazard? I can see why the Reverend W. Audrey hated this episode. And I do hate this episode too. I don't like it.
So after doing my research and hearing the opinions of other people, I still think Henry's Forest is a great episode. It's not perfect and it has its flaws, but I still love it. From the writing, the characters, the visuals, the score, I believe Henry's Forest is a great episode.